Well, hello there. I'm Tracy Resch-Williams, business coach and consultant for Alaska Tracy. Businesses work with me that are seeking calmness, clarity, and prosperity. Using my vision mapping framework, I guide them on their journey to success. On this podcast, you can enjoy hearing inspirational stories of success, as well as business tips and tools that you can actually use. So thanks for joining in. And please remember, click the subscribe button, invite your friends, and leave a comment. Thank you. Well, hello, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Alaska Tracy podcast and or watching this on my YouTube channel. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you clicking the subscribe button, sharing with your friends, and leaving a comment or a review. That would be awesome. Every year since I've been doing this podcast, I do a end of the year wrap up where I sort of go over things that have come up within my business, my personal life, with the hope that you glean goodness and growth from what I have to share with you, and hope. So I appreciate you listening. I'm recording this midway through December 2021. And if you could see the paper in front of me, there are oodles of notes all over the map of what I wanted to share with you. Fear is the number one thing. Moving through fear. We've all had interesting, to say the least, couple years. And we've all had a choice of how we have reacted to what has been going on all around us in the world. And I, for one, fell into the fear zone really in 2020. And I had had enough of being in fear. And I started to seek out a solution to dig my way out of the fear, the constant fear that I found myself living in. And for 23 years now, I have practiced recovery. It started off with not drinking, and then it became about not thinking negative thoughts. So people ask me nowadays, are you worried that you're going to take a drink? And I'll say to them, I'm not worried about taking a drink. I'm worried about thinking. And a lot of you can relate, even if you're not an alcoholic, about those negative thoughts and that fear that can corrode our mind. And that fear can often lead to ailments in our bodies. And I had a lot of ailments come up in 2020, as many of us did. And they looked like stomach issues, not sleeping through the night, my heart racing, worry, terrible, horrific dreams, and no focus. And so for me, I have learned over the last 23 years, surrounded by people that inspire me and a mentor that inspires me and people that seek to be better, live better lives, that there's a solution for everything. And again, I get a choice. We all get to choose how we react to situations. And so I started seeking help. I'd been in therapy for years, off and on for depression. And I had gotten off an antidepressant, 8 years ago. And so I sought out professional help and got back on an antidepressant and started working with that therapist regarding fear issues. And the therapist that I believe God led me to is of the belief that an antidepressant is short-term. So once we start working with rewiring those negative thoughts that have eroded in, then we can wean off the antidepressant. Now, this is just my journey that I'm sharing with you, with hopes that I'm inspiring and helping to give hope to somebody out there listening. And so I had dealt with bulimic issues most of my life and really thought that I'd gotten sort of a handle on it about 15 years ago. I've remained the same size. I've got clothes from the last 15 years. And I could tell that I was starting to get wrapped up in the not eating issue again. And so again, I was into action, right? Like, I know that I have the power within my mind to change how I react to everything around me. I had started to network with a group on Facebook that I'm involved with and making phone calls to the women in the group, which I'm still doing because I think I got about 500 responses for that group. And one of the women that I ended up talking to, Amy Garnett, ended up that day when I was talking to her, I had one of those anxiety attacks, which that's what came to be diagnosed. And the God of my understanding is amazing, because as I was talking to Amy, this heart racing, my stomach hurt, all the symptoms came on. And she stayed on the call with me. And she said, this is a lot of the symptoms that I work with women. And if you want to hear that podcast episode, I'll put it in the show notes for you. I ended up interviewing Amy for a podcast episode. Amy is a nutrition. She went to college to be a nutritionalist and has morphed her business into nutrition coaching, and suggested a book called Intuitive Eating, which has changed my life. And we started working again with her on issues that had cropped up in my life, that had created fear and worry and remorse and guilt and doubt. And I took a supplement, an enzyme supplement, and she is of the mindset as well that it is a supplement, meaning to be taken for a very short time and then to get off of, wean off of. And we really dove into some deep, dark issues that I had carried all my life. And I was able to go deep with her and allow her in and let go of a lot of fears. Between her and the therapist, I started feeling much better. My stomach issues started to go away. My body issues started to go away. I threw out my scale and practice intuitively eating. Do I do it perfectly? Absolutely not. I feel the best that I felt around food issues my whole life. I also hired a registered dietitian, and she worked with me. I think we worked together for 2 or 3 months, and where I monitored everything I ate. We were looking for food issues, things that might trigger me. And again, I'm sorry, I apologize. Haley Hughes is the dietitian that referred me to the Intuitive Eating book. And from Haley, I found Amy. And it was a lot of getting into the solution, rewiring those old negative tapes that come up in my brain. They come up in everybody's brain. And we can lean into the negativeness or develop tools to create goodness, positiveness, calmness in our lives. And so those are a few of the tools along my journey this year that I have used to help to create calmness again. confidence, better eating habits, less restrictions, less brain restrictions, right? Because it's my brain that often wants to kill me. And I still believe that we can have a vision. And I love working with women and watching them create a vision map, which essentially is an intuitive written plan. I love watching the women that step up and take these actions to rewire their brain and to create abundance and calmness and prosperity and goodness in their lives. And then as I'm doing that, at growing the business, coaching others, working with others, I notice things appear in my life to remind me that creating a plan, so having a vision, creating a plan, taking actions, switching the rewiring works every single solitary time. Does that mean that we're going to end up getting exactly what we think we want? No way. Hell no. We often exceed that goal. We often end up pivoting as we're taking those actions to reach a goal that we never even dreamed of, that may be way bigger and better than we ever even dreamed of. And I shared in a podcast a month ago about our Manzanillo trip. And again, I can put that in the show notes about how looking at, which I'm looking at it right now, this beautiful artwork of whales and dolphins and volcanoes on this beautiful beach, looking at it every day and taking very small actions to find some place on an ocean became our second home in Manzanillo, Mexico. So if you want to hear that, I'll drop that podcast as well in the show notes. Visions happen when we create actions that are intentional. And what I mean by that is creating goals and then the actions for the goals that can benefit not only us, but others. Maybe your family, maybe those that you help outside in the community. So having an intention to create a business, to create a career that you're making money, and then the intention. This money will help others buy. This new car will help others. This new car will help my family. This new car will, this whatever will help somebody to, and if you can be super intentional, the actions that you start taking will line up with those intentions, and amazing things will start to happen and appear in your life. I see it all the time. I see it in my life, and I see it in those that I get to work with. And I see it in those that carry the sense of serving and giving and love and believing in something outside of themselves, be it God, Buddha, some kind of power outside of themselves that they can ask for direction, that they can ask for help. With that being said, when we are doing these vision maps, which I do these workshops quarterly, we talk about having a word for the next 90 days or a mantra for the next 90 days. And I'm sure you've heard it often or seen it on social media. What's your word of the year? I would question your word of the year or your words of the year. I would question you to ask yourself, how am I going to use this word of the year, these words of the year, to pursue living a life beyond my wildest dreams? How are those words going to impact you throughout the year? It's great to have a word. It's great to have words. And what are you going to do with those words when the going gets tough, when you want to bolt, when you want to boogie, when fear sets in so deep that you feel like you can't get out of it? How are those words going to impact your mood, your reaction to everything around you? And I would love to know your answers. I would love to know your answers. You can shoot me a message. I would love, love, love to know your answers. What came to me when I was doing this last quarterly workshop with a group of women, I've used the words serve others for years. And what appeared as I was teaching them, guiding them to do their unique vision map for the next 90 days, was that this past year has been about practicing grace for myself and really practicing letting go of those negative thoughts that really want to kill me. They want to take me out. They want to derail me. They want to tell me all sorts of lies. And so I've upped my meditation. I've upped my praying. I've been reading books on rewiring my mind. I've been hanging and mentoring a lot of women and hanging with women that are uplifting and looking to serve others and be the light. And what's come to me is the word grace. Practicing grace with oneself. Maybe one of the hardest things that we get to do. How graceful are you with yourself? You know, when those negative thoughts appear, or when you think you said something or did something, like what is your self-talk? What happens to those voices? Do you have negative self-talk? I'm practicing grace. So my words of the year are gracefully serve others. And when I hear that word gracefully, I can ask myself, how gracefully am I being with me? Am I praying? Am I meditating? Am I exercising? Am I intuitively eating? Am I being kind, loving, and tolerant to others? So it can reset me, right? Because again, it's about rewiring the mind. So when I see gracefully serve others, I can be reset. When I'm stumbling, when I don't want to get out of bed, when I've hit an obstacle, that's when my power words, when my mantra, when my 90-day words appear. And they're written and I can see them. And then the actions come from those words, the goals and the actions. They're in sync with those words. And if they're not aligned or in sync, it'll feel clunky. And I might not want to take those actions. You might not want to take those actions. You might wonder why you made that goal. If you're really aligned intentionally to your words, to your mantra first, then you can create your intentional goals. Make sure it's aligned with your mantra, your action steps. Start taking those actions. And then the key, who are you going to be accountable to reach those goals? Not even to reach those goals, to take those actions to reach those goals. Who are you going to be accountable to? Are you going to hire a business coach? Are you going to join a mastermind? Are you going to join a group of accountability people? How are you going to stay accountable? Some ways that have worked for me is hiring a coach. Currently, I'm working with another certified coach, leadership coach. We graduated from the same coaching academy, and we're both looking to get accredited with the International Coaching Federation, and you have to have so many accredited hours of coaching. And so we're doing trade. 1 week she coaches me, 1 week I coach her. And it's been instrumental because coaching is all about helping somebody to move forward. And I've learned it's totally different than consulting, which I do business consulting as well. Coaching is about helping you to dig deep within, to find those answers that lie within, to help you to keep moving forward. And I need that in my life as well. So I reach out to people to help me to get there. I have somebody in my life that I reach out to grow my spiritual life as well. And it works. It's amazing. In the upcoming year, if you are watching this or listening to this, December 2021, I have created a Inner Compass Business Mastermind looking for 4 to 6 women that are ready to up their game in business over the next 3 months. I'm hopeful that this will be a quarterly offering for only 4 to 6 women. Keep the group really nice and small. There'll be business training. There'll be coaching, group coaching, and mindset coaching. And I have a network of over 100,000 people. So I am tapping into people to find the right fit to bring them in to teach and to do mindset coaching. The goal of the 3-month intensive mastermind is to help you create systems and models for your business, clarity and prosperity, as well as calmness in your life. Create more time off with family and friends. If you know anybody that's interested, and if you're listening to this later in the year and you want in on this, or you know somebody that might want in on this, you can go to my website, alaskatracy.com, and get on the wait list for the next mastermind offering. If you're looking for more of an intensive one-on-one coaching where you create a plan and work with a coach to help you move forward, I'm happy to talk to you about my pricing and if I am the right fit for you and you for me. See, I have an intentional plan for the next 90 days. I'm very intentional about those that I'll be working with. And that allows those people to enter into my life because I'm focusing on taking intentional actions. What actions are you taking today to move forward in your life to create goodness, abundance, calmness? Let me know if I may be able to gracefully serve you. Feel free to reach out via message or any social media platform you can find me on. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. May your day be filled with goodness.